Hi, Ellen Gormley here and welcome to my channel. Hey, we are swatching today and I couldn't resist. I did already take this out of the hank. This is Berroco Brielle yarn and I took it out of the hank before I photographed it. Let's see if I can insert a photo here. But this is Berroco Brielle yarn and it comes in a hank. Here it is. I just couldn't resist. I had to rip right into this right away. Berroco Brielle yarn. And this yarn is so pretty. Look at this. It's so, I don't know, animal-like. But it's actually, let's look at the label here. 50% cotton, 17% polyester, acrylic, a little bit of wool, and a little bit of alpaca. And it's machine wash cold and delicate cycle lay flat to dry. So this lovely pretty yarn, it comes in several colors, but I have this gorgeous color here, don't I? Oh, it reminds me of the baby fawns in our backyard. So pretty, so pretty. So I went ahead and made some swatches for you like I normally do when I have new yarn and I don't know what it's going to be. So I have a round, worked in the round swatch, and I have a row swatch, and I have another row swatch. So let's look at them, shall we? So this ball of Brielle yarn comes in, it's a size 4 worsted, it's made in Italy. They suggest a size 7 US hook. So that's a little bit smaller than an H-ish. So, okay, let's see what else. Very pretty. Okay, so I have the first thing I did was I did a row swatch. So this is my row swatch. And can you see, let me move these others out of the way so you can see better. So it's like groups of double crochets, like a shell, like a lacy shell. Very pretty. Hey, let me know in the description below or in the comments below if you want me to demonstrate the stitch pattern for you. It is soft. I really like the color variation as it goes from dark to light. It has a little bit of a halo. So by a halo, what I mean is when you fill in the gaps, when you see the gaps, you can see fiber kind of fuzzing around in between. Now this isn't the kind of fuzz that like shows up on your pants while you're sitting crocheting. It stays with the yarn, but it does have a little bit of a fuzzy texture to it. And I don't know if you can see in the strands here. Let me see if I can focus a little bit on the strands. There is a little bit of fuzziness to the yarn. And I like that, don't get me wrong. The only thing about fuzzy that I think of when I'm auditioning a new yarn is that if I ever needed to pull it out and rip out or rip back the yarn, it's gonna stick to itself. Because when it has a fuzzy nature to it, it wants to stick. But this Brielle yarn is so natural looking and so earthy, with the little hints and highlights. It's almost, you can see little glints of highlights. Sun-kissed, let's call it that. It has almost a sun-kissed look. Now this swatch, can you guess what this is? If I don't have a video out on this already, there is one coming very, very soon. It is, take a guess. Okay, before I tell you what it is, take a guess. I'll give you a hint. It's Tunisian. Can you tell? Okay, it's, okay, if you don't want to know, pause and think about it, but I'm going to spoil it right now. This is Tunisian double crochet knitwise, okay? That's what this swatch is. And so really excellent drape, this yarn. And Tunisian, I tend to go up a hook size or 2, and so that really helps with the drape and laciness as well. Then I also like to audition yarn by working it in the round. So don't forget, this is Berroco Brielle yarn, very pretty. Sorry about the label there, I got so excited. So I will make sure and put that in the description below so that you can find it. I worked this in the round. Now I didn't work a pattern, I just was working kind of off the top of my head. So you can tell it's ruffling up a little bit around the edges. That's not a problem with the yarn. That's a problem with the user. That's me placing too many stitches for the gauge that I have. And so they're like fighting for competition in space, and that's why it's ruffling up. So that's not a problem of the yarn, that's a problem of me designing too many stitches. And so I have this circle going. I had kind of a wagon wheel feel. You know, this was a great start to a hat. These are really tall treble stitches here. So I wanted to experiment with different heights of stitches. So I have double crochets going on the first 2 rounds, and then treble crochets going here, and then more doubles up here. So I like to see what different stitches look like in the yarn when I'm auditioning it to see what it's going to be. So I'm going to move this aside because you know what? This would be a great thumbnail shot, wouldn't it? This is a beautiful shot for the thumbnail of this video. Look how the light hits the different shades of almost white or goldish, sun-kissed little gold spots in this beautiful fawny colored yarn. Very pretty. Okay, and so I'm swatching some more today. So I've already done a few swatches, and I want to grab the yarn. I made a pole ball because this yarn came in a hank, so I untwisted it. It comes in the long twisted donut shape, and I unhanked it and I put it on my yarn swift and made it into this adorable little ball. Hello, hello. See his little face and little eyes? He's smiling at you. Hello, it's all right, it's all right. Do you remember, who was that guy, Topo? And there was like a comedian who like made a face and he drew like eyes and he was like, hello, hello. Anyway, that's what that reminded me of. All right, so let's have fun with yarn. It's just fun. So I have the end of my yarn here, and I'm making a slip knot. Can you see the fuzziness of this yarn a little bit? Very pretty, very soft. Okay, and I've got an eye size hook here because it's my favorite and it was handy, and I think it's going to work great for this yarn, even though the suggested gauge maybe is a little bit smaller. You do what's right for you. Did you know that the suggested gauge on a ball of yarn is not a hard and fast rule, but in fact, you can do what you need to do to make the project match the measurements, and that means you can change the hook size. So if you're swatching and it's not coming out to match the project specifications, you should change your hook size so that you get the correct measurements. So just because the designer or the yarn label tells you a specific size hook to use, that doesn't mean you're stuck with it. You get to play designer and you get to adjust to how your tension runs. Some people tend to be naturally tight stitchers. Some people tend to be naturally looser stitchers. So hopefully you know what that is for you, how you are compared to the average, and then you can adjust accordingly. But again, that's why swatching is so amazing and so important. So if you noticed, I'm just making double crochets across. So pretty. And you can see the halo here a little bit too around the yarn. Very, very nice. So it has like a little bit of a mohair look, but as you heard me say before, the majority of this fiber is cotton. So I'm gonna just double crochet up a little bit more because it's fun. And once I get started, it's hard to stop. And just see how it looks in plain old traditional double crochet. I really like the variations of the color. I do like the halo, but when you go to unravel it, and look how much it's holding on to each other here, holding on to itself here. So the fiber will like hug itself. That's what it is. It's just friendly. It's a friendly fiber. It's going to hug itself because of the halo. But look, it's still very easy to undo. It's not grabbing on tight like it's not grabbing on tight where you have to like pull it and rip it to get it apart. It will come apart, but it tends to hug itself, which is wonderful, which is fine. So, which is very different from cotton. I think cotton in general tends to be very smooth. And so this is a different kind of cotton because it does have a little bit of wool and a little bit of alpaca in it. And that's where you're getting the halo effect. And I don't want to forget that last little bit of stitch over there. if you've noticed, I do tend to only chain 2 when I'm double crocheting instead of the traditional chain 3, because I think the chain 3 tends to make too big of a space, but that's just a personal preference. You do you. I just like to do what I like to do. You get to do what you like to do. I get to do what I like to do. And we can all be happy and harmonious together. Okay, so this is how the Brielle by Berroco, very nice. And so this is what it's looking like so far. Double crochets, oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous, so soft. I wish you could feel it. I wish you could feel it. I absolutely could put this next to my face. It is soft enough to do that. I think this would make an amazing like cowl hat combo. You could make a set, a cowl and a hat. And I think it would be really gorgeous. Like I'm envisioning, see what you think here. So if I did a very plain stitch like this and made a big rectangle and made it a cowl, can you imagine like weaving a ribbon through it every couple of stitches and then using that as like to pull, not draw tight, but to pull snug, and then it could be kind of a drawstring cowl, not too tight, but kind of a decorative thing. Wouldn't that be pretty? Oh, it would be so pretty. I think it would look great in like a creamy white ribbon, or oh, so pretty. And then that would be just so, I can imagine like a cream colored winter coat, like this cream color in the winter time with this golden highlighted yarn and the natural look and the fuzziness. Oh, so pretty. Okay, both mostly cotton with a little bit of animal fiber, and it's got a little bit of a halo, but still very workable. It's not going to be hard to pull back a little bit if you need to pull back some stitches. The only thing you're going to just have to, I think it said wash cold, right? Machine, wash cold, that's not so bad. Lay flat to dry, that's not hard at all. You totally can do that. So this is a really gorgeous premium yarn that is not a gorgeous, scary care. You know, you just are going to hand wash it or machine wash cold very gently. So you could totally make this into a sweater. You totally could make a whole sweater out of this yarn, and you would just very gently machine wash it in cold and then lay it flat on your drying surface or whatever. You could probably hang it, but I would probably reposition it every so often so it doesn't get like bumps in it from where it was hanging. I think it would be better to lay it flat to dry, like on a drying rack. But yeah, you could totally do that. So this has been Swatching with Berroco Brielle. Thank you so much, Berroco, for sending us this gorgeous yarn to play with. And I hope you go check out the link in the description below so that you can go find your favorite color of the Berroco Brielle yarn. I'm going to keep swatching. You can swatch along with me. So please like and subscribe for more videos. And don't forget, this looks great in a lot of different kinds of styles. Which one do you like the best? I'll see you next time. Thank you.